Well, I tell you, summer has arrived in North Carolina, kind of like a Randy Johnson fastball, too quick for most of us and blazing hot. Well, not only does summer mean a relief pitcher, sweet teas required just to mow the yard now, but in Wilson it also signals the start of something very special. That, of course, is baseball, Wilson Tobs baseball. Hi, everybody. I am Larry Blucher, and I'm proud and very excited to be calling the play-by-play for all the Wilson Tobs road games on WLLY this summer. The Tobs season was actually scheduled to have begun at home at Fleming Stadium last night, but as most of you know, Mother Nature threw her best curveball and rained on Wilson's parade. Thank you very little. So the Tobs climbed aboard their vans at 12:30 today, made the 3.5-hour trek eastward, and will face their first battle of the 2001 season on enemy soil instead. Here at Coy Tillett Memorial Field in Manteo, it's the home of the Outer Banks Daredevils. The Tobs hope to have better luck than the British colonists who settled here in the Outer Banks back in the late 1500s. In case you're not a history buff, that group just completely disappeared. I mean, completely. No blood, no bodies, no bones. It's referred to today as the Lost Colony. Well, this isn't the Learning Channel, so enough ancient history. Let's fast forward back to the present, where Brandon Hall, the assistant coach of the Tobs last season, is now the head coach, a man assigned to take a group of young men, most of whom just met for the first time several days ago, and mold them into a cohesive unit that can not only go out and compete, but also stand up to a rather grueling summer of long van rides and fast food restaurants, some ball fields that will never be mistaken for Camden Yards, a wicked schedule of 52 games in 70 days. Oh, and did I mention the heat? Yeah, right back to that again.
2001 was indeed a hot, humid summer in North Carolina. It was my second season as a baseball play-by-play announcer, having debuted in 1998 with the Burlington Indians right down the road from Wilson. And while it was a lot of fun and games, there were plenty of challenges, as anyone who has ever broadcast baseball in the lower minor leagues or independent baseball can attest. We had cheap equipment. The general manager actually suggested I broadcast the games from a telephone. No, we didn't travel by bus. Wilson had two vans. We would get on the vans, drive 3.5 hours, play the game, get back on the vans, drive 3.5 hours home. No hotels. Those were some long days, and those vans got smaller and smaller as the summer dragged on. The CPL actually had some decent ballparks from which to broadcast from, including Durham Athletic Park. The movie Bull Durham was shot there, and I'll have more on that for you later. But several CPL ballparks were totally unequipped to handle a visiting broadcaster. Wilmington tried to stick me out beyond the center field wall. I mean, even at that age, my eyes weren't good enough to call a game at that distance. I found a little table in the front office, dragged that out into the stands below the press box, taped my notes to the table, and did my broadcast from there. The best advice that I can offer a young broadcaster is be prepared for anything. Be flexible and be creative. Case in point, when we visited Petersburg Sports Complex in Virginia, being flexible and creative led to my broadcasts from a bathroom.
I've never done this before. This is a first for me. We are broadcasting from a bathroom. I am not kidding. Actually, the way the press box here at the Petersburg Sports Complex is set up, it's rather cozy in the press box, very nice press box, but they've got the hometown radio in there tonight with two commentators going, plus the PA announcer. So if all three of us were sitting up there bunched together, all talking, we probably couldn't hear each other think. So I looked over, I saw the adjacent bathroom. I said, well, let me take a look out the window there. And you know what? I've got a pretty good view here. So we are going to be broadcasting from here. It's a comfortable seat. It's the seat that I actually dragged in here. And it's a good view, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully we have the room to ourselves. The count evens at a ball and a strike. So we're calling this one from the bathroom, and this game has been anything but a stinker. And we're being joined here in the cozy little restroom just off of the press box by Chris Allen, the general manager of the Wilson Tobs. We should have you up here in the bathroom more often here, Chris.
Yeah, I must say, I've only done radio a few times with
our broadcasters, but this is definitely the strangest situation I've ever worked in. Fairly good-sized restroom, though. It's not like we're in a little outhouse or something. Right. It's fairly nice. And it's clean. Yeah, that's the best thing. That is important. A lot of fun tonight from the bathroom here at the Petersburg Sports Complex. I gotta go. Larry Blucher sending it back to WLLY.
Not an ideal location, but we got some ink out of that, and baseball teams at the lower levels kill for free publicity, so that idea was a winner. The 2001 Wilson Tobs were a winner, which makes broadcasting a lot more fun. It was a running team, lots of guys who could steal bases, take extra bases, and Coach Brandon Hall would run them in just about any situation. The team did have one big power hitter, and that was Brad Eldred, who would make it to the major leagues. It did take Big Brad a while to get started, though, mainly because of the difficult adjustment from aluminum to the wood bats that they use in the CPL.
Eldred, 21 official at-bats, and still the goose egg in the hit column. Eldred out of Florida International. Just a huge hulking presence at the plate. Sends one deep into center field, going way back to the warning track and to the wall, and that ball is out of here. Brad Eldred gets not only his first hit of the season, but his first home run of the season. One of the positives to come out of the loss last night was that Brad Eldred, the big guy, finally broke his bat out of a deep freeze after going 0 for his first 21 at-bats. Eldred finally teed off with a huge home run and then followed that with a big double, something that the power-starved Tobs were quite delighted to see. Eldred told me that he felt like a huge weight had been lifted off of his shoulders.
Yeah, started off, expectations were kind of high, and I didn't think the transition would be that difficult, but started out hitting the ball just weren't getting through as they normally would.
Was it the type of thing that, after about 10, 12 at-bats, you start carrying to the plate a little bit mentally?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it a little bit, knowing that, I'm going through that, knowing that it's been about 10, 12 at-bats, haven't got hit yet. It's like, man, this is ridiculous.
Another Tob who would make it to the major leagues was pitcher Tom Masney. His sinker was like a ball dropping off a table. Opposing hitters just could not touch him. Unfortunately for Tom, he had to be perfect just about nearly every time out because in one of those weird baseball flukes, the Tobs bats went to sleep just about every time that Tom was on the mound.
It wouldn't be a Wilson Outer Banks ball game if it didn't come down to the last inning, now would it? I tell you, the last couple of ball games that these two teams have played have been nail-biters, and we've got another one here in Manteo as the Tobs take a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the ninth inning. Tom Masney, who has struck out 13 batters in this ball game, will go back to work, delivers swing and a miss, and Leaderhouse is retired on strikes. 14 Ks now. Masney has the sign. Now the 1-2 offering from the right-hander, swing and a miss, and that is the ball game. And super effort by the big right-hander from Furman, Tom Masney, and the Wilson Tobs hold on for a nail-biter, winning 1-0 over the Outer Banks Daredevils. Control, you were right around the plate the whole night. The sinker was dropping off the table.
Felt comfortable out there. I don't know what was going on. I never struck that many people out before. In high school. But in college, it never happens to me. I don't know what was going on. They just weren't hitting it. I was just laying it over there and seeing what they could do with the ball, and it wasn't much.
The Tobs also had an outfielder named Joe Gaetti who would come painfully close to the big leagues with 2 solid seasons at the AAA level. Joe is the son of Gary Gaetti, who spent 20 seasons in the big leagues. Gary came out several times to see Joe play, one of them producing this memorable moment.
His proud father watching on. Off to my right, I can see Gaetti sitting out there in the stands. And now the 1-0. One more popped up here, bleachers, and right in front of Gary Gaetti, who plays it on the hop and has himself a souvenir. And he will flip that to a young fan. So Gary Gaetti showing off the hands that made him a successful Major League Baseball player. Is that incredible or what? Of all the people in that could be his to, Gaetti plays that on one hop in the stands. The count now 1-1, and O'Sullivan swings and fouls that pitch off, and Masney now ahead in the count 1-2. the hops. That's pretty fun.
As I mentioned, the Tobs were primarily a running team. They led the league in stolen bases, also in batting average and triples, and featured a 5'8" speedster in the outfield named Jason Tuttle. Jason was one of the most exciting players I have ever seen play the game of baseball at any level.
On the 1-2 pitch with the runners going fly ball into left center field. Tuttle giving chase and makes a diving effort and makes a sensational catch. Heading back to second base, they've got one to throw back to first base, and it is a triple play. Jason Tuttle with an outstanding diving catch in center field. Comes up and guns the ball to second base to force Broadus at second to relay back to first to get Bocchino off the bag, and the Tobs pull a triple play. Garner working from the stretch. First pitch to Tuttle is bunted down the third base line. Here comes Rigsby. Here comes the throw to the plate. Not in time. Rigsby scores. Reese hustles into third base. It is a tie ball game. Jason Tuttle lays down a beautiful bunt down the third base line. 1-0 pitch. Fly ball, left center field. Tuttle giving chase. Going back near the warning track. Makes the catch. There's one gone. But Kavanaugh gives it a ride, but he hit it into Tuttle country out there. That's where long fly balls often go to die.
The Tobs had a never-say-die attitude, yet also a light-hearted approach, and that camaraderie helped make them division champs in both halves of the season, propelling them to the Pettit Cup, the CPL's three-game championship series against the Durham Braves. They lost the first game at home, and Game 2 was at Durham, which was really cool for me because that meant broadcasting from historic Durham Athletic Park, which was where most of the baseball action from the great baseball movie Bull Durham was shot. Yes, Durham does have a much newer, state-of-the-art ballpark nearby, which was one of the nicest minor league stadiums I've ever been to. I mean, it is really fantastic, and yes, I would have loved to have done play-by-play there for the Durham Bulls. But calling a championship game from the old Durham Athletic Park, for a baseball play-by-play announcer and a fan of baseball history, it doesn't get much better than that.
We move to the bottom of the first inning here in Durham. The Tobs being retired in order in the top half of the first. And now Curtis Munka taking his warm-up tosses. Big right-hander out of UNC Asheville. Comes in with an 8-0 record. Led the league in victories, and 5 of those 8 wins came on the road. Because Eldred was really on a tear for a while. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on. That ball is hit high in the air, deep to left field. Ennis going back, way back, and the yard is not big enough to hold that one. Brad Eldred with a home run, and the Tobs have taken a 1-0 lead. Well, it's getting late in this ballgame for the Tobs, who trail the Durham Braves 3-1. Joe Gaetti at the plate. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit well, left field, way back, Ennis to the warning track, to the wall, and the park is not big enough to hold this one. Home run, Joe Gaetti. Blucher at second, Metzger at first. 2 out. Top of the 8th inning. This season, Eldred had 8 doubles, 3 triples to go along with his 5 home runs. Ahead in the count, 2-1. As Lear delivers to the plate, the runners are going. The throw down to second base, and it is there in plenty of time to cut down Metzger, as I cannot believe the Tobs run themselves out of a big opportunity with Eldred at the plate. Metzger is cut down at second base on a double steal. It wasn't even close, and the Tobs are trailing 3-2 as they go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Tidball. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. Another payoff pitch on the way from Lear. Check swing, strike 3, ball game. Season ends for the Tobs. They lose this ball game 6-2, but quite an effort for the Tobs, and the Durham Braves are celebrating a huge victory at Durham Athletic Park.
And so the 2001 baseball season came to an end for the Wilson Tobs, but many great memories for the fans, for the players, for the coaches, and for me. It was time to move on, though. No more broadcasting from bathrooms. But at my next stop, my face would wind up on a ballpark bathroom wall. But that's another story for another time. Thanks for watching.